'67, and the British are learning to live with Jagger and the Stones.
Well, thank you very much, and now I think it's time for us all to go. So from all of us to all of you, not forgetting the boys in the band, and our producer, Reg Thorpe, we'd like to say, God bless. So if you're out tonight, don't forget, if you're on your bike, wear white. Evening all.
The Beatles, the Stones, are a part of Quick Fox. Quick Fox is a catalogue of beautiful books. Each Thursday for 12 weeks, this time, we'll be taking a look at a few of these books in words and music. Tonight, Quick Fox is Hendrix, a biography by Chris Welch. Quick Fox books are available from Printed Matter, Plimmer's Emporium off Lantern Key. Call into Printed Matter and ask for a free catalogue. Browse through the incredible collection of Printed Matter for today's Thinking You. Or ring 49508 and ask for free delivery of the catalogue. Hendrix, a biography by Chris Welch. We see the man himself as his friends, colleagues, lovers saw him. Hendrix is a beautiful book, lavishly illustrated, eloquent, frank, and lively. Quick Fox is Hendrix. Now read on.
Strange, beautiful dress of green, with your majestic silver sea, your mysterious mountains I wish to see close. May I learn my kinky machine.
Many are convinced that the Jimi Hendrix story is a tragedy. Either his life or death was a tragedy. But it seems more a tragedy of errors and misunderstanding, foolishness and lack of communication. Jimmy wasn't a tragic figure. He was full of energy and humor. He sought after experiences and enjoyed living. He jumped from planes. He tried drugs, relished women. As a rock hero, Jimmy was one of the best, one of the greatest, lying on his back, playing with his teeth. Fantastic.
Hey, Joe, where you going with that gun of yours? Hey, Joe, I said, where you going with that gun in your hand? I'm going down to shoot my old lady. You know, I caught her messing around with another man. Yeah. I'm going down to shoot my old lady. You know, I caught her messing around with another man. And that ain't too cool. Hey, Joe, I heard you shot your woman down. You shot her down. Hey, Joe, I heard you shot your lady down. You shot her down in the ground. Yeah. Yes, I did. I shot her. You know, I caught her messing around town. Yes, I did. I shot her. You know, I caught my old lady messing around town. And I gave her the gun. I shot her.
Jimmy's first single and first hit, Hey Joe, was released in Britain on December 16th, 1966. By the time his first British tour opened at the Finsbury Park Astoria on March 31st, 67, Hey Joe had established Jimmy as the titular head of underground, at least in terms of whose posters and albums should be most prominently displayed in one's pad. And he'd become a figure of great controversy in a country only just learning to live with Lennon and Jagger.
Hey, Joe, where you gonna run to now? You gonna run to? Going round and round. Must there be all these colors without name, without sound? My heart burns with feeling, but
was James Marshall Hendrix, born November 27, 1942. He was the son of a landscape gardener. His mother, Lucille, who died when he was young, was of Indian descent. His parents used to quarrel a lot. His father was level-headed and religious. His mother used to have a good time dressing up. She used to drink a lot, didn't take care of herself. Says Jimmy, she died when I was 10, but she was a very groovy mother. He had no musical education and learned to play in the army, and before that at school. The blues were naturally his greatest influence.
Going round and round and round and round. Must there always be this color without names, without sun. Oh, but my mind is cold and reeling. Is this love, baby, or is it just a confusion?
Quick Fox is Hendrix.
Says Jimmy, I was about 14 or 15 when I started playing guitar. If the blues were his greatest influence, he also liked Dylan, and it was his influence that was to prove important in the development of his unique musical attitude. The first real group Hendrix got together was back in Greenwich Village around 1965. He changed his name to Jimmy and the Blue Flames, but the flame went out when along came Chess Chandler, who would kindle the Hendrix musical fire all around the world.
There's a red house over yonder. That's where my baby stays. Yeah. There's a red house over yonder, baby. That's where my baby stays. Well, I ain't been home to see my baby in about 99 and 1/2 days. About time to see her. But wait a minute, something's wrong. The key won't unlock this door. Wait a minute, something's wrong, baby. The key won't unlock the door. Yeah. I got a bad, bad feeling that my baby don't live here no more. She didn't tell me nothing about it either. That's all right, I still got my guitar. Look out, baby. Yeah.
Quick Fox is Hendrix. A biography by Chris Welch. Quick Fox is also the Beach Boys complete.
Do you want to dance?
Did you know the guy who composed the music the Beach Boys had you surfing to and doing the fun thing? Or had us believe the Beach Boys were all the great things we might wish to emulate? Just wasn't like that at all? Make a note of the Quick Fox Beach Boys program at 9:15 Thursday next and hear the story of the Beach Boys complete. But you can be reading it now. Printed matter. Plimmer's Emporium off Lantern Key have a copy for you right now. Ring 49508. Ask for free delivery of the Quick Fox catalog of those beautiful books.
Quick Fox is Hendrix.
as that girl put a spell on me. Help me! Help me! No, no, or just the end of time. Help me. Oh, no. Go on.
Now, John Hammond Jr., the son of the famous jazz blues singer and the singer-guitarist in his own right, well, he called into the Café War where Jimmy was playing. He asked how he could help. Get me a gig, get me out of here. Now, Hammond Jr., he got Hendrix to play lead guitar at the Café Go-Go, where he stayed a month before taking on a new experience in London.
He was a smash at the Go-Go. I mean, Bob Dylan, the Beatles and the Stones, they all stopped by to hear him, and consequently news of his talent preceded him to Brittany. What about Chas Chandler?
Well, he was the bass player with the Animals, remember? A guy born in Newcastle. Well, he met Jimi Hendrix through the then girlfriend of Keith Richards. He'd heard, like so many had, that Jimmy was great.
This is about the time the Animals had started their latest American tour, wasn't it? And Chandler was ready to quit music and go into management.
Right. Now, when Chandler spoke to Hendrix at the Go-Go in the village, I mean, Hendrix didn't just say, yeah, man, I'll come to England. I mean, he was worried about England.
Well, he's worried about the equipment England had and the musicians, you know, what they were like. But he wanted really to meet Eric Clapton.
And coincidentally, Chas Chandler had found the song, Hey Joe, Did You Know? But Hendrix was already using it, and Chandler saw that as a signpost.
Yeah, so after the Animals had finished their American tour,
Chandler stayed in New York to arrange things with Hendrix, and in September of '66, that was when Jimmy hit England.
What about the experience?
Look, fella, why don't you go and buy the book? Quick Fox is at Printed Matter, Plymouth Emporium off Lambton Quay. Quick Fox is a catalogue of books.
Quick Fox.
23 years ago, Billy George McCune was sentenced to death in the electric chair for the alleged rape of a socially prominent Fort Worth matron in her late 30s. Poor, friendless, adjudicated as feeble-minded as a child, and at his trial only 22, McCune was said to have sexually assaulted the woman in the back seat of her car, which was parked in a public lot. She outweighed him by 20 pounds, and he carried no weapons. Guilt-ridden and plagued by newspaper accounts of himself as a sex criminal, McCune amputated his penis with a double-edged razor blade and passed it to a trustee in a tin cup through the bars. For 2 years he lived on death row in Huntsville, Texas, while the men around him were systematically exterminated. Billy McCune is a part of Quick Fox.
Have you ever been to Electric Ladyland? The magic carpet waits for you, so don't you be late. Oh, I want to show you different emotions. I want to drive you the sounds and emotions. Electric woman waits for you and me. So it's time we take a ride. We can cast all your hang-ups over the sunshine while we fly right over the love-filled sea.
2 weeks after arriving in London, Chas Chandler tells how he was in the offices in Gerrard Street, and this kid calls in wanting to audition for lead guitar with the Animals, but the position was filled. Now, he suggested he try bass and jam a while with Jimmy, says Noel Redding.
I was 20. I got my guitar and went to London with 10 bob in my pocket. I went round and played at this club called The Booth. Chas Chandler was there and Eric Burden. Oh, real star. Chas asked me who I'd played with. I said Johnny Kidd. Well, I had. You know, I once played with his guitar in a dressing room. He asked me if I could play bass for a bit. So I went down and it was Jimi Hendrix. He showed me some chords which he tuned up and we played. It was Hey Joe. He bought me a drink and said he'd just come from America. And he gave me 10 bob and a bar of chocolate. I went back the next day and Jimmy was sort of surprised I'd remembered the chord sequence. We tried a few drummers, me and this coon from America. Yeah, that's what I used to call him. Jimmy loved that. He really dug it. He loved me, you know.
Mitch Miller had been kicked out of Georgie Fame's Blue Flames. Chas Chandler liked his drumming and asked him along. The first time all three musicians got together, they played non-stop for 4 hours. Quite an experience.
Hey, Joe, where you going with that gun of yours?
January 67, Melody Maker chart, Hey Joe at 48. February 4th at number 4. March 18, 67, Purple Haze in the charts at 43. March 25th, up to number 4.
And the wind.
May 13th, The Wind Cries Mary in the Melody Maker chart at 25. June the 3rd, up to number 6. September 2nd, Burning of the Midnight Lamp in the charts at 23. September 16th, Burning of the Midnight Lamp up the charts to number 16.
But the velvet moon.
The Experiences, first LP, Are You Experienced, released 18th of May 67 in the charts at number 5, June 3rd, and up to number 3 on June the 10th. It stayed in the album charts 4 months. The second LP, Axis Bold as Love, came in at number 8 on December 23rd, 67. But did everyone dig the Experience?
I've been watching Top of the Pops, and believe me, if I had to give a cut to the leading nitwits of the programme, I guess it'd be between the Move and the Jimi Hendrix group. I reckon the first lot was stupid, absolutely stupid. I'm sure the drummer must have suffered from the itch or something. Well, so the Hendrix group, I hope I never meet any of them in the dark that area sticking out like mops. Hendrix himself looks
All for the charts. Hendrix and his group are an insult to pop music, and the sooner the record-buying public wakes up to this fact, the better.
Hendrix's experience in Are You Experienced is that I survived one full session, although it took me some time to assure myself that nothing had gone wrong with the stylus. A refreshing return to normality is provided by Liverpool's swinging blue jeans.
Naturally enough, there were plenty who viewed them with distaste, almost amounting to fear. In June of 67, the group claimed 30 hotels in Stockholm had banned them. In Helsinki, a nightclub refused them attendance. With his beaming smile and gorgeous clothes, Hendrix was a highly sought-after fashion figure, vying with Rudolf Nureyev and Mick Jagger for space on the glossy magazines. 1967, Hendrix was really doing his own thing.
White-collar conservative flashing down the street, pointing their plastic finger at me. So, but soon my kind of drop and die. I'm gonna wave my free flag. Hi! Wow!
On Friday, September the 18th, 1970, Jimi Hendrix was dead. The autobiography of Billy McCune is Quick Fox, one of the many exciting, frank, and lightning books in the Quick Fox catalogue. Ring 49508 and ask for free delivery of the book list from Printed Matter, or call into Printed Matter, Plimmer's Emporium, and that's just off Lambton Key.
Happy New Year, first of all. Hope we have about 1 million or 2 million more of them. If we can get over the summer. Yeah. I'd like to dedicate this one to such a draggy scene that's going on. All the soldiers that are fighting in Chicago and Milwaukee and New York. Oh, yes, and all the soldiers fighting in Vietnam. I had to do a thing called Machine Gun.
Just after the Isle of Wight appearance and a few weeks before his death, Jimmy rapped about the new subdued Jimi Hendrix. He'd been going through certain changes and felt he had to be quiet for a while. He was getting into heavier music and it was getting unbearable with 3 pieces. Ideally, he wanted a small group and a large one. He was also trying to get his writing together. He wrote what he felt, and at times the words being so bland no one could get into them. And when they played, him sort of flipping and flashing around on stage, people just saw what their eyes saw and forgot about their ears.
Anyway, we'd like to say, man, we really appreciate you all having patience with us. Because this really is nerve-wracking, man. That's why we waited till the sun up. And maybe the new day might give us a chance. I don't know, blah, blah, whoop, whoop. We don't want to play too loud for you. So therefore we just play very quiet and very out of tune. Are these microphones all screwed up again, as usual? Yeah. I know what you mean. It's so embarrassing, man. I'm sitting up here. Well, people looking at me too, man. Damn. Half a million eyes. We're very sorry for the delays, but we're trying to get things together in between time, because like I said before, we only jammed a couple of times. But it's the first ray, so there's a whole lot more to go. But to do this song dedicated to maybe a soldier in the army singing about his old lady that he dreams about, and held a machine gun instead, or it could be a cat, maybe, trying to fall in love with a girl, maybe, but a little bit too scared. That's where the problems come from sometimes, isn't it? I mean, the cat really insecure a little bit, so they call girls groupies, and they call girls this, and they call passive people hippies, and blah, blah, woof, woof, on down the line. That's because they're fucking not in love, man. That's what's happening. That's the other half of a man is a woman, and we like to play a thing called Isabella, and don't you ever forget it.
Guitarist and singer Johnny Winter said of him, he had a fantastic musical ability and could create feelings nobody else could, man. His guitar was like an extension of his soul. But often his lyrics were concerned with someone or something better than his most revealing writing was about himself, earlier exemplified in If 619 and later by My Friend on Cry of Love.
Y'all pass me that bottle, and I'll sing y'all a real song. Yeah. Let me get my key. Well, I'm looking through Harlem. My stomach squealed just a little more. A stagecoach full of feathers and footprints pulls up to my soapbox door. Now a lady with a pearl-handled necktie tied to the driver's fence breathes in my face. Bourbon and coke possess words. Haven't I seen you somewhere in hell? Or was it just an accident? You know how I felt, man. So, before I could ask, was it the east or west side? My feet, they howled in pain. The wheels of a bandwagon cut very deep, but not as deep in my mind as the rain. And as they pulled away, I could see her words stagger and fall on my muddy tent. Well, I picked them up, brushed them off to see what they said, and you wouldn't believe. Come around to my room with a tooth in the middle. I bring along a bottle and a president. And sometimes it's not so easy, baby. Especially when your only friend talks, sees, looks, and feels like you, and you do just the same as him. It gets just very lonely out this road.
Cry of Love illustrates the new direction Jimmy wanted to go and the change he wanted to make in his stage act. It would have guaranteed him a more sophisticated audience. With greater care taken by himself and others, Jimmy would have been an even greater musician.
Well, I'm riding through L.A. on a bicycle built for fools. And I seen one of my old buddies, and he said, you don't look the way you used to do. I say, well, some people look like a coin box. He said, look like you ain't got no coins to spare. And I lay back and I thought to myself, and I said this, I just picked up my pride from underneath the payphone and combed this breath right out of my head. And sometimes it's not so easy, especially when your only friend talks, sees, looks, and feels like you, and you do just the same as him.
What he went through made him such a vibrant living artist and creative genius, which was beginning to flow again just before his death.
Noel Redding thought the experience successful, and a great group it was. It could have been even better if they'd stayed together. Around 69, they were so overwhelmed by money and the glamour of being pop stars, they forgot they were people. They made mistakes. They got to the point once in New York where Noel told Jimmy he was a stupid, that he demanded too much of himself as a writer, producer, and musician. He was always trying to do it his way. And despite that, the experience was happy. They had some great times. After Jimmy died, Noel said he couldn't talk about it to anyone. He was the first close person he'd known to die, and he was very upset. He said they should have buried his white Fender guitar with him. It was his favorite.
Says Mama Bear as she irons Daddy's holy underwear. And he says Daddy Bear as Junior pours some honey all on sister's head. And you know, they call it happily ever after. Say the little fish, as the sad fisherman goes home without a hitch. But he says, the fisherman with his lady bird French fries in the frying pan. This is so silly, man.
Hendrix is a biography by Chris Welch. Each Thursday at 9:15, a book from the Quick Fox catalogue will be reviewed in a picturescope of sound and music. We could have made 6 or 7 programs from this one book. We can merely bring you an insight of research that Chris Welch has unearthed. It's available from Printed Matter, Plimmer's Emporium of Lambton Key. You ring 49508 and ask for free delivery of this book list. Hendrix is a compassionate and unsentimental book giving facts, dates, names, and places that were important in Jimmy's brief, blazing life.
Hey, Joe, where you going with that gun of yours? Is this love, baby, or is it just a confusion? There's a red house over yonder. That's where my baby stays. You just say, somebody get to you. Somebody to run over you. My brain's all in my brain. Thinking things that don't seem the same. Have you ever been to Electric Ladyland? And the wind, it cries very. full of feathers and footprints, pulls up to my soapbox door. Now a lady with a pearl-handle necktie tied to the driver's fence breathes in my face. Bourbon and coke possess words. Don't you shoot him down.
Tonight, Quick Fox was Hendrix, available from printed matter Plimmer's Emporium of Lambton Key. Next week, Quick Fox is the Beach Boys Complete.
Do you want to dance?
I've been in this town so long and back in the city. Well, I walked up to her and I asked her if she wanted to dance. Little scoop, you don't know what I got. It happened on the strip where the road is wide. Surfing is the only life, the only way for me. Now surf, surf, let's go surfing now. Everybody's learning how. Come on a safari with me.
Quick Fox.
Yeah! Thank you very much for showing up, man. You're all really beautiful and all exciting. Thanks for waiting. It has been a long time, hasn't it? That does mean peace, not this. Peace. Okay, give us about a minute to tune up, all right? Give us about a minute to tune up.
After Jimmy collapsed, he was taken to St. Mary Abbott's Hospital, Kensington, and was dead on arrival. His body was flown back to Seattle and was buried at the Greenwich Cemetery on October the 1st.
Will I live tomorrow? Well, I just can't say. Well, I can do a song up with a thing that everybody knows out there. You can join us and start singing. Matter of fact, it sounds better. Stand up for your country and your beliefs and start singing. No for sure. I'm gonna live today.
I'd like to point out at this stage that Quick Fox, when it's played next week at 9:15 or thereabouts, will have some books from the Quick Fox catalogue to be won, so do be listening, won't you? And you can hear the first of a program and a half on the Beach Boys. You're with Music City 2ZM right here in the capital city. The time is just 12 and a half minutes to 10.
2ZM News.